Okay. Hey, hi everyone. I'm very excited for this session. So, folks are joining in. Let's wait for the rest of them to join as well. So, hey audience, how you all doing? I request you all to please check in through the OHQ link which has been dropped in the comment. So today we'll be learning about web development. We'll learn about the roadmap for the web development for the beginners who are willing to learn and step into this field of web development journey. So those who are all are watching and have not yet registered or check in, I request you to please check in through the link in the comment. Let's wait for a few minutes and then I suppose we can start. So I'm very excited about this session. I hope you all are as excited as I am. So, what's up, audience? Anything you want to share before we begin? What's up with your today's life? Hey, Akriti. Hi, what's up? So, how my day is going today. I am very busy. My exams are nearby. I have an exam on Monday, and I'm not yet prepared. So I'm a little scared, but I know I'll somehow manage and prepare well for it as well. So, are you guys excited for this session? This session is although for beginners, but I would suggest that the people who already are into web development, have an expertise in web development, should also attend this session so that they'll get an idea of their basics and get them kind of revised. Okay. So Akriti says she just completed her third sem examination. It's okay, okay, that's nice. So how did your exams go? I hope they were well. So this is an examination session going right now, right? I think we can start now. So let me begin with this. Oh, so Akriti says they were online. I suppose they went well then. Online exams are awesome. So, um, this let's start. Let's get started with web development. So we're gonna have two sessions of web development. This is the part one of the session. So so if you want to learn web development, we are often confused where do we even start from. It's kind of hard to begin and learn web development. Even I remember when I started learning web development, I was so confused and so lost that I had no idea where to even start from. There was one of my seniors who had to help me out, who had to make me understand how do even websites work, and then from there was no stopping. I landed into my internships and worked hard for I'm still learning web development for to excel. So this is how my journey began. So let me introduce myself first. So hey everyone, I am Khushi Mahavar. I'm an APAC coach at MLH, and this is my first Global Hack Week live stream. Yay! And a fun fact about me is that I'm a huge food lover. I kind of say that I am living to eat food and not eating food to live. So that's all about me. And so today, as I told, back to the topic. So as I told that it's often difficult to find a way when you're getting started with web development. So what I'm going to do today is present you a roadmap so that you can start with your web development journey, and with a proper flow. You would know about what websites are and how do they exactly work. You would know about the details of the website, the development of the website, and the basics of building a website. So this is all we are gonna learn today, and we would also try to have an hands-on session for the next part, where we will build a website together, right? So let's get started. So the first question which arises in our mind when we talk about web development is, what is exactly web development, right? So web development is nothing but building and creating websites, and then deploying them, right? So we build the website, create the website for the user to use, and it's not about just creating and building and deploying and leaving it. It's also about maintaining the website, how you can add more functionalities, how you can bug fix the website. So the website development is quite simple. So but we also need to understand how websites actually work. So here is a flow which explains how websites work in real life. So the website files, as we know, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These three files are well known to everyone. So these files are stored in a directory or a file or a folder, and this folder gets loaded onto a computer or a desktop, which acts as a server. So whenever a client or say a browser device uh, sends a request to the server to display the web application, the server checks for the request, validates the request, and then sends a display of the web application to the browser. So this is as simple as a client server architecture we study in school or university. So this is a very simple situation of that, where the server is our desktop holding the website files, and browser or the client is the device which is requesting for the website, right? So this is how websites actually work. So, in the field of web development, we often hear of these two words, front end and back end. So, there are front end engineers, back end engineers, and full stack engineers as well. So, front end engineers are those who are responsible for building the website the way it looks. So, let's say the UI, right? The user interface. So, whatever we see, we look onto the website is front end, it sounds. So whatever is visible on the front is the front end. While we talk about the back end is something which is not displayed to us directly. We do not know what happens on the back end when we use the website or interact with the website. So backend holds the logic of the code and the database of the code. Backend engineers are responsible for developing the logic and managing the database. Full stack engineers are those who are able to manage both the front end and back end, who are who have excelled in both of these fields. So there is this MERN full stack development these days, which one should study and work on. It is quite very popular these days. So let me explain front end and back end with an example to you all. So we all have seen a car, right? So I suppose most of us would be driving it by now if you're in university. So a car looks the way it is, as we see. For example, the inside of the car, we can see from here we have a steering wheel, we have a gear, we have a clutch and accelerator, a brake, the display here, the mirrors, the speedometer, etc. This is all what we can see in the car. So what we see on the front is our front end. So the this is the car's front end. On the other hand, when we talk about the back end is the part where we do not know what's happening inside the car when we drive it. Do we know what happens when we press the accelerator, or when we press the clutch, or when we switch the gear? Unless we are mechanical engineers, we might not be knowing what exactly happens, right? So um, so this is something which is the backend of the code, where you do not know what actually happens. And then there is a database as well. So to compare database here, let me give an example of gas or fuel we use in the car. So gas or fuel is something through which the car runs. Without gas or fuel, there is nothing. The car is, simply standing at one place. It won't run, and there's nothing to usable out of it. So database is something similar to that. Once we have data, we can use it and display on our websites. Without it, the website is kind of incomplete because you cannot store data or access data from anywhere. So that's it. So I hope this example was relevant to you all and was under, comprehensive. So moving ahead, once you have learned what exactly websites are, how do they work, how you can, opt for front end or back end, the next step is to study front end. So front end includes these three files, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML is hypertext markup language, as we all know. So hypertext markup language includes the content of the website, what we actually see, the structure, right? So this includes the tags or elements which we use in the websites. So for example, the tag heading tag H1 tag is used to display the headings, and paragraph tag P tag is used to write paragraphs, image tag is used for image. So these are some tags or elements which we use in HTML. While CSS is cascading style sheets, where we CSS is used to style the content you write in HTML. So once you have written your basic structure of code, you can style, make it fancy, make it, beautiful through CSS. And then we have JavaScript. So once you have built your HTML CSS website, it would also look very beautiful, but it would be a static, boring website. So without JavaScript, you cannot build an interactive website. JavaScript allows you to add interaction between the website and the user. It helps you to add behavior to your website, right? So it is a programming language and can be used in web development. It is used in web development. So the next, once you know about front end, once you know about the basics of it, you can move ahead to learning about tools. So there are many tools here in web development which can be used. I suggest you to study about package managers. Package managers are open source tools which can be used and installed in your projects. So npm node package manager or yarn can be installed, and these allow you to, make your code writing easier. So for example, I want to add an image carousel in my project. So I need not write code from the scratch, from for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I can just use the npm tool to make to use a pre-built image carousel, and I can customize it according to my needs. That's it. So it allows you to write code easily, and you need not write everything from scratch. Next is version control. So we all must be using Git if you're familiar with it. So Git is something which helps you to keep track of the code you write. So for example, I am writing code for my website. So at the end, I make a mistake and I want to backtrack to the code. So version control allows me to backtrack and go back to the code I want to. So this is something I wanted to tell. So the next step after you know about tools is additional front end. So additional front end includes responsive design. So to explain responsive design, let me give you an example. When you open a website on a phone, on a laptop, or on a tablet, there are different dimensions of each device. So whenever you want to open a website, the content of the website is, adjusted with the dimension of the device. So this is what responsive design is. We make the website presentable on each and every device so that it fits with the dimension of the device. So we use media queries here to adjust the website content according to the dimensions. So next is JavaScript frameworks. So JavaScript frameworks are kind of pre-structured pre-structured files which can be used to make your task easier. So just for example, React.js is very popular these days. It was introduced by Facebook and is very popular in the market right now. React.js allows you to create a component and reuse those components in your websites. So it makes your task very much easier. Similar is Angular. Angular was introduced by Google, but it is not as much as popular as React because React overpassed its popularity, surpassed its popularity. So the next step should be basic backend. So there are most of the people prefer learning just front end engineering, but a suggestion would be that to learn at least a basic backend as well, and for the backend engineers too, that they should learn a little bit of front end as well. So you should know about basic backend, which deals with server. Server is nothing but the desktop or the device which stores your website files, as we discussed earlier. So here server stores all of your logic, and the programming language which can be used for server could be PHP, Java, C Sharp, Ruby, etc. And Node.js is something which is a runtime environment which is used these days, and it is used for writing JavaScript code for server. And it is very popular, and I prefer that you should study about it and learn when if you want to go towards backend as well. And then we talk about database, as it sounds, is something which stores your data. It allows you to create, update, and delete data, replace data according to your needs. So, a database comes in two forms, which is SQL and no SQL. So, for SQL, we have MySQL, SQL Workbench, if you've heard of. So, it allows you. It is nothing but complex Excel tables, which allows you to store data according to the attributes. And then we have MongoDB, which is a NoSQL platform, and it stores data in the form of JSON files. So this is a kind of roadmap which you guys can follow, where the at the first you know what websites are exactly, and at the second you know about the front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The third step would be to understand the tools which can be used in web development. The fourth part is to understand the additional front end parts, courses or you can learn. The fifth part is to understand the basic backend which you can use. So that's it. Now let me from here we'll learn about a little bit basic front end, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so that we can build a website in the next part. So let me show you how you can first install an IDE for your web development. I use Visual Studio Code. You can install anything like Atom if you want, or you can even use Notepad. But these days, Visual Studio Code is much more in common. So if you just search Visual Studio Code, let me present my screen. Right. So if you just search a Visual Studio Code on the Google, you can just see the first. From here, you can download it either for Windows, Mac, or Linux. So I had downloaded it for Windows. Please download the stable version, and after downloading it, you can extract the files. And once you have downloaded it, you can you can develop a folder for storing all of your files, and then you can open your Visual Studio Code from there. Please allow me to share my screen. So once you have built, right click on the folder and open with code. So here my Visual Studio Code opens and I can create a new file, let's say index.html. Right. So I hope it's visible to you all. Okay, let me just share a tab. So yes. So here, let first we'll learn about the HTML basics, then we'll jump to CSS and to JavaScript. So the first thing I want you all to know is about doc type HTML. This is something which allows you to allows the browser to know the version of HTML being used in your file. So this is something which you should mention in your document every time. So the next step would be to create a root element, which is HTML. So always create an opening tag and a closing tag for this, because often we forget adding a closing tag, and then it's error. It's an error, and we end up just searching for that error. I would suggest you to install some extensions. One of them is Prettier. Mm. So Prettier can be installed from here. You can just search for the extension from here and install it. I've already installed, so it's visible. Prettier allows you to beautify your code and make it look beautiful and in a beautiful format. So the next you can install is auto close tag. As I told, we often forget closing tags, so this is recommended that you install it. Um, And there is another extension which is very helpful in web development is Live Server by Ritwik Day. So you can install it, and every time you make a change on your document, you need not reload or refresh the page. So it would just appear, it would get reloaded itself, and the change would appear. So this is the root element, and here we write the head tag. Head tag is used to display. Head tag doesn't really display anything. It is used for the additional information about the web page. So once you have created head tag, you can write the title here. So the title tag, an opening and a closing tag is used to add a title about your web page. So this gets displayed right on the top of your web page where your tab has been created. So let's just try getting started with web dev. Also here you can add which is style tag is used for CSS, and you can add link tag, which is used to link your style sheets or JavaScript files. So right now I'm not using it because I'm just looking towards HTML here. So the next step is to create a body tag. Body tag is used to write the main content of the of your website. So let's just add a heading and test whether this shall be working. So H1, a heading tag has been used here to display the content. Whenever you want to open your file, right click from here, open it with Live Server, and let me adjust this for you. So what I can do, right? I hope this is visible to you all. Wait. Right. So once we have written our heading tag, it gets displayed here. So now so heading h1 tag is used to display um, the most big heading. So h2 tag is used for the other subheadings. Then h3 similarly till h6 can be used for subheadings. So h2 tag, for example, let me write something else. So if you see, hello world is getting displayed here. Right. So this is how you can add headings to your web pages. Then it's about adding paragraphs. So p tag is used to add paragraphs. You can add any text here, which would be your paragraph, and it would be displayed on your web page like this. So you can add multiple paragraphs this way, and it gets displayed here. So, after paragraphs, I want to talk about the break tag. Break tag is used in web development to separate a section or add a break in your between your content. So, break tag is a self-closing tag, which is also called an empty tag. Here, you do not close the tag. So break tag is used kind of to separate the section. For example, I want to write an about us page and add a contact us page, and I want to break a space between them. So I can use a break tag. So let me also tell you the concept of comments. So comments are written this way. We use this symbol to write comments, and in between this we write um, the content we want to write. So comments are usually something which are used to write in between pieces of code to so that the other person who reads your code is able to understand what you're actually writing. So it's a very helpful technique, and it's always suggested to write comments in your code. HR tag is also a self-closing tag. It is also used. It is used for adding horizontal line in your web page. So it is also kind of used to add division between two sections, but with a line, right? So this is these were two self-closing or empty tags we studied. Then this was all about how we can add text onto our web page. So what if we want to add some images or graphics and make our website some a little more fancy and beautiful? So we can use img tag. Img tag is used to add an image to our website. Img tag is also a self-closing tag, and for img tag, we can src is used to add a link. So let me just choose an image. For example, I want to add this image. Let me just copy the image address and put it here. So I've added the image here, and alt is to write about the image. So it allows you to, alt is an attribute which is used um, uh, to write text or content about the image, so that by chance the image doesn't appear due to slow internet or lost image, or the image was not found. So this text would appear on that image, so that the user who is reading who is using that website can look over what image what it actually was, what image it was. So this is how you add image. Similarly, you can add a video to your website as well. So for video, you have to have a have to have a mp4 video. Right now I have not downloaded anything. So it is you can add a video source as well. So the next step, um, I would say, would to let's learn about anchor tag. Anchor tag is something which allows you to move from one page to another. For example, I want a button in my website to redirect me to the MLH website. So I can create a button inside the anchor tag and say, take me to MLH. So for this, I have to add a hypertext reference, which is a link of MLH website. So here I have added the link of the MLH website and a button which says take me to MLH. So here we see that there is a button which says take me to MLH. And when I click it, I have been redirected to the MLH website. So let me go back. So this is how anchor tags work. Anchor tags can not only be used for buttons, but anything, even text can be used for um, anchor tags. So if I change it to paragraph, now what happens is that you can click on the text and this text redirects you to MLH website, right? So this is how anchor tags work. And now I want to tell you about the list thing, how we can add list on our website. So so there is another way of commenting. You can comment your code on the VS Code by using control and slash. And this thing called line comment and single line comment. There's not much difference. A single line comment is a comment which comes in the same line, and multi line comment is the comment which is in two lines, has an indent. So we comment in both of them in the same way. So if I want to add a list, so for example, if I want to add an unordered list, I'll use a UL tag, and inside that I'll add all my list items. For example, I say front end, back end, and database. So this gets displayed here, front end, back end. Okay, I think now it would be properly visible. Front end, back end, database, right? So if I want to make it an ordered list where I want serial numbers to be there, I can add an ordered list this way, right? So it says a front and back end database with 1, 2, 3 serial numbers. This can be changed to Roman as well, and those bullets could be changed to different bullets as well. So the next tag which we would learn here is div. The div tag is a very common tag used in web development, and it is a block tag which which allows you to contain all the tags you want it to be inside of it. So it acts as a container of other tags. So for example, I can add another div here. I can add h1 tags here, or any other tag I want to. Let's not add right now. So I'll just display how div tag works. If I use another div tag here, these both text hello world would be displayed in two lines. So this is how a block tag works. It displays different blocks in different lines this way. This is one of the blocks, and this is another block. So if I talk about another element which works in the same way, exactly same way, but the only difference is that it does not display things in different lines. For that is span tag. Span allows you to display your content in the same line, which is that's why it's called an inline element. So if I add another span here and write hello world, this text would be displayed in the same line, right? So this is how span tags work. So the after this, we'll understand about CSS. These were all the basic tags you should know in implementation of HTML. So there's another thing you should know, which is class and use of class and ID. So we use class and ID to uniquely identify an element so that we can apply CSS or JavaScript on it. So let me name this class as, for example, um, hello world. Let's container main class maybe. So this also as main. I want this to be similar since these both are similar. So I'm adding them both as main. So but I want this image to have an ID, and I give it a unique ID, which is MLH image. So the difference between ID and class is that class can be used in multiple elements, and ID can only be used for one element, and it has to be unique. So this is the only difference, and the CSS of class can be applied to multiple elements, but ID is used just for one. So this was the HTML HTML tags you need to know. So the next step I would want you to learn is about the HTML layout. So let me open this. So let's have a look of the MLH website. Here, here we see that on the top we have a nav bar. So usually on in the websites we always have a header or a nav bar, which allows us to navigate from one page to another of a website. And then we see we have the actual content, we have the buttons, we have different divs, different blocks, and at the end we see a footer. So this is how the layout of the HTML, the HTML content is. So this is how we are also gonna build something in the next part. So the next thing, which is to present you about the CSS. So here we had our HTML file. So let's work on the CSS now. So CSS is used by adding class or ID to your content. So let me delete all of this. So let's create a div tag and some content here. So let's give a class to this, and let's call it main. And this let's give this ID as heading, this also as paragraph, right? And let's create another div, and we can also add some h1 tag here. Let's add the same thing. So um, this is how it is getting displayed. So let's add CSS to it. So CSS can be added in two ways. That is inline CSS, three ways. I'm so sorry. In inline CSS, external CSS, or internal CSS. So inline CSS is where you write, for example, you write the style here with the tag. So if I write, Let's say color blue to be more visible. So the color is set to blue here. So this is how you add inline CSS, but inline CSS not preferred because it always messes up the code, and it's better to write CSS in a different file. So since we do not have much of the code right here, so let me just add it here. So this is called internal CSS, and when we create a new style.css file here and link it through the link tag, it's called an external CSS. So let me add a color to this heading through by using the ID. So ID are used by giving using the hashtag and then the paragraph. So let me write color blue. Okay. So since the ID here was same, I should have not have used ID here, paragraph 2, paragraph 1, right? So here the color has been set to blue by using the ID. And similarly, I can set it for class. We use a dot to refer a class, and let's set the color as brown. So once we have done that, the color gets updated here. So these are some of the features or attributes you can update on the CSS. And another is background color, which can be used. And the background color, let's set it as aqua. So for paragraph, it gets sets to aqua. Similarly, you can set it for main as well. So the next thing you can do is align your text. So you can align your text in these ways. So a good thing about VS Code is it allows you to know about what values you can give to these attributes. So let's just put it as center, and the hello world and the entire div gets to center, because the div or the hello world in web dev has been nested inside a div. So this is how you do it for the CSS, and there are other things as well. Okay, I'm so sorry. Now we can also set a font size. Let's set a font size for the paragraph. Um, right now I'm using Pixel. You can also use EM or REM, which is based on the reference of the parent. So we can use that instead of pixels. So also you can use font family, which allows you to change the kind of the font of um, the text. So let's set Times New Roman, for example. So I'm not sure if it got updated. So sometimes you use you use a phone family which is not available on your device. So what you can do is just search for the font and download it, and extract the zip file and insert it in your phone's folder. That's it. You will be able to access it. So this is the Roboto font which we are using here. And you can also make your text bold by using font weight. So if I say I want to make it this bold, 500 is the weight I've given. So right now you might not be able to observe. Are you okay? This is quite visible. So this is how you can increase the font weight of the text. Then comes the most important part, which is margin and padding. So right now we see there is not much difference between this div and this div. So to separate them, we can give a margin. So let's add a margin here. So let's say I want to add 20 pixel margin. um didn't it get updated? So margin can be added in a few ways. For example, if I write 10 pixel, and so this is for top, this is for right, this is for bottom, and this is for left. So if I just use two values, this refers to the top and bottom, and this refers to the left and right. So I can also set it through just one by for example, if I just want to put a margin left, so I can use 40 pixel. That's it. I can also add padding to it. So here padding gets added. Okay, let me here. This will also get added to that, right? So this is how the margin and padding work. One should understand the difference between margin and padding. Margin is the outer space of the element, and padding is the inner space of the element. So this is how you add, spaces or space between your elements. So the next thing which you can learn is float. Float allows you to set your text or your element in a few ways, which is left, right, inherent, or initial, where initial allows you to set it without any on the default side on the first page, and none is used for adding no float value. So let me try adding left. So it gets shifted towards left, and this is how it is looking right now. So instead of float, we also have Flexbox, which can be used. So Flex allows you to display elements in a direction which is called Flexbox direction. So you can add boxes in a horizontal way or a vertical way. So Flexbox is used generally for responsive design, so that whenever you change the dimension of the device, the Flexbox grows or shrinks accordingly. So there is this game called Flexbox Zombies, which I used to play earlier to understand the logic of Flexbox. So you guys can also search for this game. You can go on to google.com and search for Flexbox Zombies, which was by Mastery Games, I suppose. So right. So this was about the CSS. Let's now understand about JavaScript, which can be used. So I hope you all are with me and you're getting a glimpse of what is actually happening. Oh, I'm so sorry. Was I not presenting my screen? Oh my. Okay. Did I skip it by mistake or something? Never mind. I'll explain whatever has been done here. So I have added CSS. I have added a class, an ID to all the tags I've used. So similarly, I created another div which had a different ID, and a different the class name has been kept same. And for adding css, for the id I've used hash and the name of id, and added a few css attributes. For example, background color, font size, font family, font weight, float. And for the div I have added color, text align, margin left, padding. And this is how this has got displayed. And css can be used to beautify your content, and similarly you can use it to enhance your content. And so I'm so sorry if I forgot to present the screen. Okay, never mind. So let's learn about adding JavaScript to code. So first I'll ensure my screen is being shared. Right. So okay. So JavaScript is a programming language, as we all know, and it is used to create dynamic pages. And so the page we were creating was static. There was nothing we could interact with the page. There was nothing we could click on or add behavior to that page. So let's create the dynamic pages. And JavaScript can not only be used for client server client programming, for example, the client we were building right now, the website, but it can also be used for server programming, where we can add the logic and connect the client and server. So JavaScript uses variables, functions, operators, expressions, data types, etc., and like any other programming language. So, for example, okay, let me. So, to create a variable, we use var. So, this we can also create a variable through let as well, but the variable allows you to create a global a global variable, but let allows you to create a local variable, which is that you cannot access that variable if you're out of the piece of code where initiated that variable or define that variable. So let me just explain how simply you can use this script in your files. So we have created three variables here. This is just something which I'm explaining you so that you can get a glimpse of how a programming language works and how JavaScript works. So let us just put the value of a as 2, b as 3, and set c is equal to a plus b. So here, what we want to do is we want the value of C to be calculated through this expression, which is A plus B. And the value of A is 2, B is 3, and thus the value of C should be 5. So let me just write document dot write and print the value of C. So once I do, um, I can also do it this way. So let me create a very tag here and add an id, and let's use document get element by id to find this. Okay, is some. What's happening? Okay. So what would happen is that this answer would get displayed on the web page, and this is how you access a document, an element by using ID. So similarly, you can create a button and add an on-click function to it. And whenever you click on that button, you can call a function where and you that and in that function it can be defined what is actually happening. For example, let us create a function here. Let's first create a button, and here let's add a function which deals with the on click function of button. Okay, I need to add something. So whenever a button is clicked, this content gets appeared. So let me write it in our HTML, and let's add on click here and call my function. Okay, something wrong happening. HTML has been closed, body. Okay, never mind. What would happen is whenever you click this button, this text here for H1 would get displayed as hello. So this is how you can use events such as on click function, on key up function, on mouse over function, on mouse over events, etc. Where for example, if you hover over a div or something, you can you can show a function, you can make a task happen, or if you click a button you can hide something which you want to. So this is how JavaScript functionality can be used. And that's it. Right now, I just wanted to make you aware about how you can use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So this is how you could have been using it. So in the next session, what I'm planning is to we and you can work together uh, to resolve the issues, and have a hands-on session of building a website together. I'm planning to build a portfolio website. If you have any other suggestion, you can please drop it in the comments. I'm so sorry, I just saw the comments. Okay. So if you want anything particular to be built, you can suggest, or otherwise, I was planning to build a portfolio website together with you, so that you can also get a hands-on session. So if you have any queries, you can drop it in here, or we can wrap up the session. So here we today you got a roadmap, and the way you can learn and start learning development. Yes, the website will be building to in the next session would be responsive, and the session would be tonight at 11:30 Indian Standard Time. So yes, it would be responsive. For making it responsive, we use media queries, etc. And that's it. You guys can drop your comments and queries if you want. Thank you. And let's meet in the second part where we'll resolve our errors and work on the next part of the development. Thank you.